Alrighty, we got a match here for the Dominion Online Championships. This is the 28th seed cha-shu versus the 101st seed derpa. We're just starting game one here. And I'm joined by Halo Andy.
Hello.
So the first thing that jumps out to me about this kingdom is I don't see any plus action aside from the off chance of getting Field's Gift off of Pixie. But there is museums. You probably want to collect a decent diversity of cards. And most of the cards seem like stuff that you could potentially justify buying.
And not only museum, there's fairgrounds too.
That's true. Double the incentive to collect distinct cards.
So yeah, it's a bit awkward, but you definitely want to try to build. I think if you just go to provinces, your opponent can build up to fairgrounds that are worth an equal amount.
Yeah, and there's not quite enough cards to get to 20-point fairground, not 20-point, to 8-point fairgrounds, which would involve having 20 unique cards. Here, we've got Will-O-Wisp, which adds an extra unique card to the kingdom, but the standard kingdom has 17, and you need to have like 3 extra unique cards to make fairgrounds better than province.
Goat's here too, so we're one short.
Oh, you're right, Goat. I totally missed that one. Yeah, so they're close. This kingdom is real close to making fairgrounds really good.
Regardless, getting to like 6-point fairground should be pretty straightforward if you want to do that. I guess the only consideration is that then you need like farmer's market as your plus buy, maybe as your terminal. I guess that's not so bad because gear's the only other terminal. So I guess it's just a matter of gear versus farmer's market and what your incentive is. If you're going more of a money strategy, gear looks better, but if you're really trying to bump up the fairgrounds points, then farmers markets.
Yeah.
Draw is also pretty awkward here too. I mean, crypt is draw, research is draw, gear is draw, but like none of it really works that well.
Do you get crypt? Yeah, I would say that's pretty clear. I mean, on top of the general incentives of like museum and fairgrounds to collect all the cards, your main payload here is probably treasures to some degree. I guess you could like have a stack of fishermen, but plus buy is a bit limited for that, and draw is a bit limited, and so I wouldn't mind having a crypt to stash my treasures on.
Yeah, so they both open Pixie gear, which seems reasonable. Helps you to cycle, get the goat trashing pretty quick. I think you probably don't need junk dealer. I think the goat will probably be fast enough, but
yeah, I agree. I want the goat to trash some estates, and then probably the first 5 is crypt. Gear should make it pretty easy to line up a decently large crypt hand.
Yeah, and then cha-shu picking up a farmer's market. I mean, at least for now, while you're not fully drawing deck, or if you're setting aside with the gear, having an extra terminal seems perfectly fine.
Yeah,
and
the
enables you to...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the plus buy seems pretty valuable because there's a bunch of cheap cards I want, namely Fisherman whenever it costs 2, and then Pixie looks great. And so plus buy lets you pick up multiples of those.
Yeah, I think that's probably the general strategy here is get a lot of Fishermen and Pixies and go from there.
Yeah, Pixie in particular, I'd be looking at some of the gainers. So at least I want 1 pair of Will-O-Wisps because that's worth 2 points with Museum.
And it's great with Fishermen.
Yeah, and then all the other random gainers, like the Forest Gift for plus buy, Earth's Gift, even Mountain's Gift is probably pretty good here. It's a cheap way to add a bunch of payload to your deck.
Yeah, and you'd rather not have to buy a silver or 2.
Why did cha-shu trash copper over estate?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I saw that.
Good question. So they've already trashed 2 estates. My hypothesis is they're trying to keep that last estate around until the end of the game for museum/fairgrounds purposes.
Yeah, it's basically a duchy at this point, plus the fairgrounds consideration. So, I mean, that's already giving an indication that cha-shu is going in that direction, although derpa likely wouldn't have seen that unless the estate happened to be the last discarded card.
I suspect that's wrong. Like, even if you had a duchy in your starting deck, you'd still want to trash it most of the time.
Yeah, I feel like you could buy back the estate later if you needed to. You know, if you really needed that critical, you know, make it a duchy later. Just, it hurts your tempo quite a bit. Like, if it weren't in this hand here, it could be, I mean, it would be a copper now, but...
Probably just another pixie.
Derpa has got the double gear going, so it seems like Derpa is probably going more of a money-ish strategy.
Yeah.
Having gained.
Oh, here's a nice gain. I would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you grab a fisherman and a pixie for a pixie.
You can't grab a fisherman. Because you just
no, you can grab a fisherman on the first one. Oh, no, you can't. You can't. Never mind.
You'll discard the copper, correct. And then it'll cost 5.
Yeah, fisherman's tricky with some of those things where it seems like it's going to happen and then it doesn't.
Yeah,
I messed that one up with stonemason a lot.
A league like match versus, I think it was Crabcat 2, who discarded 2 cards to Artificer and then realized that they would not be able to gain a fisherman that way.
Yeah, there's some tricky things with some of those. Fisherman probably being the most tricky cost changer, although I guess there's a few Wayfarer cases that can be kind of weird.
I am not surprised in the slightest that DZ would hate Fisherman. It's just nice, simple, pleasant card.
It is
how dare they
for the FAQ. I'm not gonna lie that I messed that one up pretty often. Yeah. Like, oh, you know, yeah, I definitely saw a league match where someone tried to do like the stonemason fisherman pile out, and then just like it didn't work.
I think Fisherman might be the single most innocuous of the weird cost cards. Wayfarer is the one that I often struggle with like develop and stuff. It's hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
You would gain 1 fisherman if you stonemason for fisherman, and then you'd have to gain a second 2 cost like stonemason or something for the second one.
Yes, you can't grab both the fishermen. And so I've seen people mess up some pilouts like that. Or even just wanting to gain, you know, extra fishermen on a $4 hand.
I like the crypt.
All right, we got the crypt.
Nice, another good boon.
Definitely. I'd probably take like 2 fishermen and a pixie with that.
Yeah, something like that, depending on what you draw.
Or sorry, a fisherman and 2 pixies.
I might just take all 3 pixies, to be honest.
Yeah, that's definitely worthwhile too.
Yes, getting plus buy non-terminally seems great. Farmer's Market kind of sucks in that, I mean, it's just a bad card, and I get the rationale for playing with it because plus buy, but man, if you can get plus buy without wasting terminal space, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and Farmer's Market being the only plus buy it's kind of like Tragic Hero being the only plus buy. I mean, not quite as awkward, but it's got that similar characteristic.
No, DZ, I'm aware that you don't hate all the cards, just the fun ones.
Alright, so cha-shu got the 2 Will-O-Wisps, which look really nice.
Yeah.
Probably going to get a good crypt set aside if draws didn't get the draw.
Yeah, sad draw. Because obviously you'd really want crypt to be in this hand because it's the big hand that was from the gear set aside. Bottom decking it's kind of sad.
Yeah, so now that the pixies have run, I guess you're going to add some fishermen.
Whoa!
That didn't seem...
I get the rationale. You know, the River's Gift is setting up for a big crypt play next turn, but I value the gains from those pixies too much. I think I only want to pop pixies for something plus buy or gain.
Will-O-Wisps, Earth, and Forest. Probably. Well, I guess Trush, you already got the Will-O-Wisp, so that's been...
Yeah, Earth and Forest seem great. Mountain's Gift is not bad here. Maybe with the right hand size, you could consider Sky's Gift. What do you buy here?
Yeah, I mean, the pixies have run, so Fisherman and...
I mean, they're gone, but they'll come back. We will shuffle the boom deck eventually.
Yeah, when you're playing multiple pixies a turn, you know, you could get 6 Will-O-Wisps in your deck or something like that. It's, you know, if that's what you want. I guess you start diversifying. I don't know. I mean, you could go like Fisherman Province. I mean,
Fisherman Province seems reasonable. 11.
The more I'm thinking about it, the more I think the fairgrounds might just be too difficult, other than just as like 4-point duchies, effectively. I think getting up to 15 is going to be pretty tough here because there's a number of cards you don't really care for, like Research, Junk Dealer, Guardian.
Yeah, so realistically, there's a good chance that Fairgrounds just ends up being a 4VP, like Duchy Plus, which is still not bad, but it's not like a province alternative per se.
Yeah, if the game goes long enough, I could see it, but like Curse, Guardian, Research, and Junk Dealer are really like not great cards for these decks.
This is an interesting play. So they elected not to trash copper, so they could buy 2 golds. I was
just try to build for double.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I was thinking about lines where you trash the copper and then buy like a gold and something else, and I didn't see like an obvious something else that you also really wanted, maybe Fisherman Gold. But gaining a gold seems fine again because Museum. I think I can get behind this play. I mean, if you end up with Crypts, then having an extra copper isn't so bad. It'll get set aside.
Yeah, I don't really care for Harbinger. I mean, I guess double gold works. It's up in the payload. I could have seen Gold Fisherman working. Like, obviously, Fisherman's giving less payload, but the draw is really not great here, so I guess it just depends on how good this Crypt set aside is for cha-shu. Maybe it makes sense to get another Crypt pretty soon, depending upon how big this Crypt set aside is.
I think for this is game 1. I think for cha-shu in particular, a second Crypt team is pretty viable. They've got a decent number of treasures. And this game could go long. We haven't seen a single province touched yet, and there's fairgrounds around.
Yeah, I mean, it's only turn 7. I mean, Goat really accelerates things, but they could definitely dance for quite a while. So now, if they play the farmer's market, cha-shu is going to have to rebuy it. So that's running into that ephemeral nature of the buy.
Yeah, I strongly suspect to play the gear here. Obviously, you want the hand where you play Crypt to be a very big one.
Yeah, and the 4VP from the farmer's market doesn't seem that important right now. I mean, obviously it's an 8-point swing, but getting 5 treasures set aside right now seems pretty nice.
If they'd drawn no treasures there, they also could have considered setting aside the Crypt instead for the next turn. But as it is, I think playing it here looks good.
Do you set aside everything here or leave 1 gold out?
Everything looks pretty clear to me. Like a large amount of money isn't going to do a lot for you unless you're playing your farmer's market anyway, and so you want to keep a thin deck. It's fine to me if the gold misses the shuffle because that means I get back onto the farmer's market faster.
Yeah, I mean the farmer's market's with the gear, so it's probably going to miss the shuffle anyways. But
yeah, so you're definitely playing the farmer's market this turn. Then the question is, what do you want in that shuffle that you're triggering after this turn? And so if you don't set aside the gold, well, you get an extra gold in that shuffle, which is, on the face of it, good. But it has the downside of that's more to draw through before you get back to the farmer's market for the next farmer's market play.
Yeah, that all makes sense. So, I mean, right now, cha-shu looks pretty far ahead. This is a pretty sad hand for derpa.
I was thinking a few turns back that derpa's position looked fine, and that was when I think they had like a majority of the pixies and they're getting a lot of those gains, but it hasn't come together.
I think the second gear might have been just a bit too much terminal for derpa. Like alternating play gear 1 turn and set aside play farmer's market next turn, that seems reasonable, but having 2 gears in a farmer's market might just be a bit too much for the terminal space.
That lack of a Crypt is definitely hurting their ability to draw their deck.
That too.
Ooh, Will-O-Wisps. This is a tough call, I think, for cha-shu. They take them.
Take is fine. Having 4 Will-O-Wisps in the deck plus some fishermen and goat and estate that cha-shu has decided to hold on to.
Yeah, so
for the game, I think the draw is just going to be pretty easy from here. So,
so wisps are pretty amazing on the one hand. The downside, of course, is you've thrown away your last pixie, which means your only plus buy for the rest of the game is coming from farmer's market.
Yeah, so derpa's got the last 3, which gives some flexibility, but you just have to see. I guess you kind of need the farmer's market back here, but you'd rather not spend I don't know. I guess this was my thought about leaving one gold out, is that, drawing deck didn't seem that far away, and if you had left another gold out, then going Province Farmers Market was an option here. But
yeah, I don't like Moya's suggestion of Fisherman Province. You need to regain the Farmers Market because it's your only plus buy. Silly Potter suggests Crypt Market. I like that better.
Yeah, second Crypt looks good. I mean, the silver, the treasures are starting to come back into the deck. And this is around the right time where you have that nice balance between the two Crypts.
Yeah, I think Crypt has some nice self-synergy where the first Crypt makes it easier to set up the next Crypt and so forth. Interesting. So they finally trashed out a state, which... I mean, I'm not opposed to trashing this state, but why didn't they do that 5 turns ago when they had the opportunity the first time? If they were holding on to it, it was presumably because they wanted it the whole game.
Yeah, I think that was turn 4. They decided not to. It was 4 or 5.
All right, they do go with Farmers Market.
Turn 4.
Yeah, I like this set of buys. The Farmers Market, mandatory because it's the only plus buy. And then beyond that, I'm not sure what else is helping your deck more than Crypt. An extra gold isn't going to help unless you are drawing the Farmers Market every turn. And Crypt helps you do that.
Yeah, so Derpa just had the Earths and decided not to take it. Fisherman was costing 5, so couldn't take 2 of those. Well, it couldn't take it because of Earths in general. So I guess the options for the games on the Earth gift just weren't that great.
Ooh, playing gear was weird there. I would think you played the Farmers Market for plus buy.
Yeah, I mean, you have plenty of money here. It would be nice to use some. Again, this is the issue with having the 2 years and the Farmers Market, is that you can't play all these cards.
Yeah, I'm liking the state of cha-shu's deck more and more compared to Derpa's as this game goes on.
Not just the 2 Crypts.
That definitely is a factor. It's a good card, what can I say?
It took me a long time to realize that Crypt actually is draw. I thought, well, you have to draw the card so it's not draw. But then the more I had to actually sketch it out on a piece of paper of oh, okay, this actually is a draw.
Yeah, if you ever build a Crypt Bank Megaturn, you realize it puts a lot of cards in your hand.
Yeah, and it's not just saving cards from a previous turn. It can increase hand size all on its own perpetually.
So I
think just another province here and set aside.
Yeah, I assume they're provincing. Huh? Do we set aside all of the treasures? That's a good question. You could consider leaving the silver out. I'm not sure. I'd think about it.
Cha-shu's been leaving that other gold in there too, so it looks like everything got set aside.
Yeah, I mean, setting aside everything seems reasonable, but if you look at their hand now, they do have more draw than they needed. They're going to overdraw their deck. And so it seems likely that leaving the silver not set aside was better. I'm not sure if that extra money will matter.
I think you've got 3 or 4 overdraw here.
Yeah, depending on the Will-O-Wisps.
4 overdraw. I think the last 2 cards are Will-O-Wisps.
Oh, yeah. So, cha-shu has so much draw.
I think there's 4 overdraw right now, so... Yeah, you probably could have left some stuff out.
Yeah, so the last cards are definitely both the Will-O-Wisps. The other silver is on the Crypt.
Yeah, especially because this is going to be the Farmer's Market hand, so having a little extra money would be nice here.
Yeah. Yeah, Derpa still desperately needs a Crypt. I don't know, maybe Crypt Fairgrounds?
Really behind. Yeah, I mean, I guess at some point maybe you need to go into Fairgrounds, but cha-shu's deck is just better overall, so even if Derpa decides to divert into the Fairgrounds route, cha-shu can just match that.
There is no one whose opinion on DZ's taste in cards who I trust more than John's. I don't trust Johnson's opinion on whether he should be trusted.
Yeah, third gear seems.
Yeah, I don't like
crazy.
the third gear. I mean, the card you want to be playing as much as possible right now, I would think, is the Farmer's Market for plus buy.
Yeah, I mean, if we just keep trading provinces back and forth, cha-shu just easily wins in 2 turns.
Oh, John, so what was the verdict of your match? Or is it still ongoing? I don't want to presume. Okay.
Wait, is it?
Good luck in your game 7.
I presume 4-2 based upon the influx of people about 5 minutes after we left.
Oh, were those just the warm-up games that were happening earlier?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, probably. I guess Harbinger. Does cha-shu not have a Harbinger yet?
Yeah, so the Harbinger's worth points. It wasn't clear to me whether Harbinger was better than Fisherman. I mean, it's points, for Museum, and the game's close to over, so I see the rationale. Fisherman is, of course, just a better card in general. It's drawable by Will-O-Wisp and gives you money, which is something you want.
And Harbinger just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, Harbinger is
just a blank cantrip.
It's aside from the victory points you're getting from it and the potential Fairgrounds effect, Harbinger is worse than nothing because it's a cantrip, but it's also not costing 2 or less, so it makes your Will-O-Wisps ever so less likely to hit.
Yeah, and cha-shu's got a monster starting hand here. 4 Will-O-Wisps in the starting hand. Pretty nice.
Maybe that's too many. That also means there's fewer targets for the Will-O-Wisps.
That's true. You want a few of them in there. Yeah, and the goat and the coppers. Maybe the Will-O-Wisp will just dud. I think all the 2 costs, so then the Fisherman might be in hand. Yeah, not really sure where this went awry for derpa, other than just feeling a little over-terminaled.
Yeah, too many gears, too few crypts. I mean, setting aside cards for the next turn is good, but doing it non-terminally is better. Yeah,
especially when the terminal space just really needs to be at least sometimes used on this farmer's market for the buy. All right, so derpa going in for the fairgrounds. I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of the only hope, but cha-shu's deck just can do so much more.
Yeah, like as derpa, you need the game to go long to catch up, so fairgrounds is your only chance. Not a good chance, but it's your best chance.
And cha-shu can just go for fairgrounds as well if they need.
Despite being ahead in points, I'm not even sure cha-shu's deck is weaker or anything. It's not like derpa's got a stronger deck and just needs to bridge the points gap. cha-shu's got more of the golds, they've got more deck control, they got more draw.
Yeah, I think a long game and a short game both favor cha-shu. Like, I'm not really sure what gets derpa back in this.
So here I assume it's just Fisherman Province.
Yeah, that would make sense. Now, if cha-shu really wants the points, they could go like Guardian Province, but it just seems worse than Fisherman.
Yeah, we were talking about this at the beginning. The 19 differently named cards is like so close, and yet so far to having 8-point Fairgrounds.
If you play one on the last turn as a frog, does it count? No? Fine.
Goat is the one for getting JC Thress. I made that same mistake.
I called it one for the Guardian.
I guess I was presuming, maybe he was forgetting Duchy or something. I just assumed it was Goat. It could have been any of them. That's unforgivable. Although derpa apparently seems to be making that same mistake.
It's funny how non-random things seem random. In the last game of my match, in round of 128, I also had a museum fairground, so it's funny when notable things match up like that.
Nice little combo.
Just too many terminals here, and derpa can't even catch up on the museum points by not playing the...
Yeah, like I think I would just trash that other gear with the goat right now and cut your losses.
Yeah, there's just way too many terminals here. And I mean, cha-shu next turn. It's a synergy, DZ. It's a synergy. So, I mean, next turn, cha-shu goes province and anything. and then wins the turn after that. Yeah, ST Carl. So this is an interesting crypt board in that, and a lot of the times crypt is really good when you don't have good treasure trashing, whereas here it's being primarily used for its draw benefit.
Yeah, I think the issue is that you just need more practice with crypt. Realistically, it is true that it's a card where like you don't just pick it up at a random point and put it in your deck. I think for the most part, like if it's on the board and you consider that it's worth it, you sort of want to play around it to some degree. Like you're looking for early estate trashing and then spiky draw. Like here is really good in this regard, where you get like one big hand and get one big crypt set aside.
Yeah, I was expecting crypt to have a high skill multiplier, but it's only 0.94, which shows that the good players also don't know how to play with crypt. So.
Exactly. That's what skill multiplier means, for sure.
Yeah. All right, decent hand for derpa there, but it's just unfortunately not going to be enough.
Yeah, I think cha-shu's got this game on lock. To compensate for thinning or draw. I guess I think of it as more of a thinner than a draw card. Like, in most of the cases, what you really want your crypt to be doing is setting aside a lot of coppers rather than, like, a lot of treasures, all of which you want to have. There's exceptions to that. Like I mentioned, make megaturns earlier. It's also good with capital. But for the most part, you're trying to get a lot of cards you don't really want onto the crypt.
All right, so cha-shu's got the win. So good job, cha-shu, and 1-0.
Buy an estate. Buy it back. Thank you.
Style points.
All right, 1-0 for cha-shu going into game number 2.
Is Scary Snakes also a Tracer alt?
I don't believe so. I believe Tracer's alt is Snake Face.
Yeah, I didn't know. Maybe he had a few.
Yeah. Unless he's a deep undercover Tracer alt I'm just unaware of. All right, what do we have here? So we got villages, draw, plus buy, trashing, everything you need to build. I guess there's a question whether you want to draw with Watchtower, which seems better, I would think. Watchtower is probably better.
Yeah, I think the draw is just really not great. The only draw is Village Steward, which...
Watchtower as well as draw.
No, sorry, if you're not going Watchtower, the only draw is Village Steward. So I would certainly be inclined. Like, Festival works a lot better in a DTX deck, where you don't need the plus card for its village effect. So yeah, I think Watchtowers, Festivals, some Conspirators, all that looks pretty good, and not much treasure payload.
Yeah, so if you play with a bunch of Conspirators, you don't really need much draw, and so it's probably not super important, what you even use for draw. I'm not sure whether you get a Dismantle or not. Dismantling golds into Festival seems okay, and that works well with Watchtower because you can top deck the Festival if you want to.
Yeah, I could see Dismantle as a gainer here. So what do we think on the open? Certainly Steward, but I'm not even sure if it's just like Steward, Pursue Steward, Double Steward.
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
derpa goes for the double.
So cha-shu's options are limited because they have 5-2.
So you could go Border Guard here. That seems reasonable.
Wait, so couldn't cha-shu have pursued there? Why didn't they? What am I missing?
Well, they had the 5-2.
Right. So you buy Pursue and then you buy Steward. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, that seems like that would have been better.
I think that was just a clear mistake. I can't think of any reason you would want to like voluntarily top deck 3 estates for yourself.
I mean, if they really wanted a Border Guard or something, maybe. But yeah, I think
you just buy it next turn anyway. It's a 0% chance of not hitting 2.
Pursue for copper or pursue for nothing?
Pursue nothing.
Pursue nothing.
Just discard 4 cards so that you've already triggered your shuffle with your steward in it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, derpa gets the
so derpa has
the collision.
The 4-3, which is the most awkward, I think, because on the 3-4 you could buy steward, then pursue name steward and buy border guard.
Yeah, I think that's the optimal opening.
But on 4-3 you don't really have options. They go for, what do they go for?
Seems pretty early for conspirator for cha-shu.
That's a very optimistic conspirator.
Village seems also. Wait, derpa bought a village turn 3. I guess they knew the collision was coming, but unfortunately you can't ghost town to make sure that it's in play the next turn.
I mean, the village seems reasonable. They've already got 2 terminals on their deck.
All right, that's not bad. Trash and get a border guard. That all seems reasonable. Border guards are going to be really nice to set up conspirators and watchtowers and everything else that you want to do. It's a really pleasant card.
I'm not sure how I feel about the double steward opening. I mean, you can potentially trash twice and buy 2 border guards, which is not bad.
It feels unnecessarily risky as player 1, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, derpa they collided, and it just makes for a much more awkward turn. You got, a 30% chance of collision, which seems not great, but the other 70% is pretty nice. Yeah, Moyo, I think dismantle at some point to gain conspirators or festivals seems pretty reasonable. Bank as payload seems not great. Neither of them have gone for the watchtower yet, which we presume will be the main draw for the deck. Yeah, not just DTX, but if you get rid of all your treasures, bank is just a copper, so not great.
It's kind of weird to me that derpa used Wave the Camel. I don't think you want golds here. I mean, aside from the one that you're dismantling, if you do dismantle.
Yeah, and the conspirator seems a little... I mean, the conspirator seems fine. Who has the festival? cha-shu has the festival. I probably would have gotten festival there for for derpa on turn 7.
Yeah, so derpa this turn definitely needs festival because they need plus buy.
Yeah, they're having way too much money.
I mean, I guess they could consider dismantle as well as a gainer. You could dismantle the second steward into a border guard and a gold. That would be okay.
Yeah, I'd trash here and plus 2 coins and get the festival.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're not even really in need of watchtower yet. I don't know, maybe watchtower doesn't really come into it that much.
I mean, the decks are,
nice to have one
are very
or 2.
thin, and your payload is a cantrip, so... Like I said, I don't think you need much draw here for quite a while.
Yeah, and even once you start greening, it's not going to, the watchtower won't help you that much. Maybe the border guards will just sift through stuff well enough.
Yeah, watchtower is a good card here, I agree. It'll, especially once you've played festivals, it'll draw you a decent number of cards. It's just a question of whether at this stage in the game you even need the draw in the first place, and it's not totally clear. My guess is they'll get a watchtower in 1 to 2 more turns.
Yeah. Yeah, I think dismantle is also starting to look more appealing, especially for derpa, because you can dismantle one of these stewards into a gold and a border guard, and then the next turn you can dismantle the gold into a festival or a conspirator. Derpa, I think, has plenty of draw at this point.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Derpa should be fully clean at the end of this turn, I think. cha-shu's a little farther behind, having only gone for the single steward opening. Seemed okay. cha-shu got plenty of other good stuff too. It just is thinning a little bit slower. I presume you take the...
So it looks like cha-shu has played steward for trashing 1 time less than derpa, and so cha-shu still has 4 coppers while derpa only has 2.
Mm-hmm. So I presume for cha-shu you take the steward and trash.
That
But
seems
maybe you
like a
don't need
natural
to
choice.
trash.
They were thinking long and hard about that. I'm not sure what was in their discard that made it a significant choice, but maybe there's something important there to consider.
I mean, I guess you could go like Festival Conspirator if you don't think the trashing is that important.
Ooh, I would have trashed there.
I think that seemed like the logical play.
Especially, you took +2 coins just to use Pursue and top deck a border.
Well, I think it was just, they wanted Festival and presumably Watchtower or Conspirator. Yeah. And so, like, they had the extra money anyways. I think the Festival Watchtower line, I could get behind that. Because now you can trash with the Steward and then draw back up with the Watchtower. I think that seemed reasonable. So yeah, Derpa's really overdrawn now.
I mean, not necessarily, because they can use the Steward for money. But they have the
I meant
potential
if
to
they trash.
Yeah.
If they trash here.
Yeah, as Derpa, I don't think I would trash here. There's just no need to get those coppers out of your deck at the moment.
You go like Festival Conspirator.
I mean, your trashing wouldn't be so bad.
Dismantle.
You could trash and go Dismantle Border Guard, but I think I like playing it for money and then taking Festival Dismantle.
Yeah, I think that seems most helpful to be able to dismantle Steward next turn. I don't think the Watchtower is as necessary for Derpa here. I wasn't a big fan of the early cameling, but maybe having the second gold could be useful.
But thinking about it, just another festival.
Two festivals seems reasonable. So I think as Derpa, you really need a Watchtower next turn then. Derpa's got 3 festivals, I think, at this point. Yeah, 3. The draw's going to start getting a little more difficult without a Watchtower in there.
Yeah, I would expect Watchtower to be a natural buy next turn with as many festivals as they now have. So I assume cha-shu is currently contemplating whether to play the Steward for money right now. You could play the Watchtower instead, and then that would give you the option to trash 2 more coppers.
Yeah, concerned it's cha-shu's only Steward. That might be a worthwhile consideration. Yes. Yeah, I think you probably want to draw and then trash. Or don't trash. Just seems like these 4 coppers could lead to a... It seems a little risky to be carrying these 4 coppers around now.
Festival Dismantle Watchtower?
I guess what are you dismantling at this point for cha-shu?
What would I dismantle? I'm not sure.
Yeah, as long as cha-shu keeps the horn, it's better. But I mean, if Derpa takes the horn back and cha-shu, well, I guess it should be pretty easy to trade the horn back and forth.
It doesn't matter if Derpa steals it because you already top decked the Border Guard.
Yeah, as long as you take it back the next turn. No one has a lantern somehow, or they chose not to take it for some reason. I think just no one's gotten it yet.
I guess as there's really not been a single Border Guard that hit 2 action cards except for the one time cha-shu did it. Is Lantern
There's nothing wrong with Lantern. There's nothing wrong with Lantern. It's perfectly fine here.
All right, here we go. Oh no, Derpa's just going to take the horn.
And I guess you can decline Lantern if you think it's going to make it harder to get Horn back. Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe that's the reason why you're not taking Lantern, is to keep the Horn. I don't know. I would have just assumed that you take it.
Yeah, derpa really needs a Watchtower. Having to use the Steward for draw, it seems really
so I believe
not great.
JC Thresh, yeah, the last thing you said is correct. If you already have the Horn, I think you can decline to take the Lantern. If you don't have the Horn, you can just steal the Horn from the opponent. So I don't think you ever have to take it.
Watchtower. Okay. I still want this Dismantle as derpa. It seems like a really nice way to add Festivals or Conspirators to the deck for getting rid of this Steward, the second Steward that isn't really doing anything. Seems pretty even right now. cha-shu has a little more payload, but again, didn't get to the end of the deck.
Yeah, bit of a dud here. I mean, this is kind of self-imposed. This is the risk that you take, of course. They're being light on trash and coppers and trying to get that extra payload out of it, but then it carries the potential downside of dudding.
cha-shu is just crushing it on the Conspirator front here. Yeah, I mean, cha-shu just has a lot more payload in the deck now.
Yeah, Conspirator is a very good card.
It's like almost a grand market. Almost.
Can it pile? How many festivals does cha-shu have?
3, I believe.
I believe you're correct about that.
Yeah, derpa's just not... The deck's just not got as much payload in it, so...
Yeah, so with only 3 festivals, I don't think cha-shu is realistically threatening to pile out next turn. But it does make it awkward for derpa to take any more festivals or border guards.
I mean, derpa could get like 2 dismantles here. I don't know. Trying to think about like what high roll derpa could do to try to get a win. Like if you take the 2 dismantles and that threatens a win next turn, or then that threatens a win for derpa, so forcing cha-shu to start greening. Oh, whoa, no, don't buy the gold. Gain. I wanted the dismantle to gain the gold.
Yeah, buying gold seems horrible.
I like the double dismantle line there. I think that could have given an opportunity to, gain 2 festivals, and then that's going to give derpa like 7 buys. I think that would have been a decent opportunity.
Like, I could totally get not wanting dismantle just because you only want Conspirators and Festivals and that's enough payload. I think that's reasonable. I don't get wanting golds and then not just taking a dismantle to get the gold.
Yeah, if you wanted gold, like, dismantle was the clear way to do it. And now cha-shu, I mean, derpa can't even threaten a win next turn. So cha-shu doesn't even have to green here. I mean, they probably will, but...
As cha-shu, I think I want more plus buy. I want 1 more festival, maybe 1 more watchtower.
Yeah, if you take the festival, you have to green. Well, no, I guess you don't have to if you take the festival, because then derpa gets a losing tie.
Yeah, you could definitely take 1 festival safely here, even without a province.
Yeah, again, that's why I really just wanted at least a dismantle, if not 2 there. It really meant cha-shu couldn't build any longer. Seems reasonable, Mario.
I think I would replace that village with a second watchtower. Cha-shu only has the one right now, and now you're adding three more stop cards in that line.
Yeah, that makes sense. A little more draw could be helpful then. Yeah, and they don't need the village really, especially if they're getting another festival.
Yeah, like they have way more villages than they need.
Under-terminaled. Not really, but
yeah, festival, dismantle, watchtower, province. I think sounds good. Then if derpa fails to score, you can potentially win.
Yeah, that should be a pretty straightforward pile out if derpa doesn't score there. So cha-shu still has the 2 coppers on top of the deck, I believe. We'll top deck a border guard, so no, I mean, there's still...
They trashed their other 2 coppers this turn.
Oh, they did. I didn't realize they did that. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit higher up in the log. Okay.
I'm not sure what those top 2 cards are. Both conspirators, right? They have 8 conspirators?
Should be, then, yeah... It's 2 conspirators. Okay, so I'll have a border guard and 2 conspirators, so...
I think that should be fine. You top deck the border guard. That gives you 4 cards to find any second action that's non-terminal. So yeah. The conspirators are probably not going to cause a dud.
Yeah, and there's not really anything you can do about it at this point either.
Well, there's pursue if you were concerned about it.
Yeah, I guess you could pursue to clear them off the top if you wanted to.
Province.
Yeah, scoring something seems pretty straightforward. Double seems fine too. Doubling a watchtower maybe.
I don't think I would have doubled. The provinces certainly aren't good cards to have in your deck with watchtower draw. I only want as many provinces as really necessary.
Yeah, so if you take 1, you're still comfortably ahead. cha-shu doesn't have the buys to pile out if derpa doesn't take anything, but I mean, derpa's got better control, so derpa just has to like hope for a dud from cha-shu. I'm not really sure.
I mean, looking at the starting hand, there's some chance.
It's certainly possible.
I think it would be funny if cha-shu reveals 2 more conspirators with his border guard.
Or like Watchtower Steward, yep. Copper. There's a number of cards that, like, cha-shu certainly has a much higher than 50% chance of having a turn, but that's a possibility. Take the money from Steward before drawing up with Watchtower. Not that it really matters. I think derpa's drawing pretty easily regardless. Does derpa even have enough to double here?
Derpa's kind of low on payload. They do have golds.
They do. The golds are payload. It's going to make it more difficult to draw coming up, though, after they start greening.
Yep. Yeah, this is awkward because even if you take Conspirator, you don't reach everything. I think you grab Conspirator and you hope you draw gold, and then if you draw gold, you just leave the festival on top and play Steward for money.
Or trash with the Steward. You might need to trash. These extra 2 coppers being around are going to be pretty annoying once the green phase happens. All right, that worked.
Yeah, we do draw the gold.
Now trash and go like double, and is a border guard too risky?
I mean, I guess you could just do double and trash.
I guess cha-shu can take a tie then.
If you play the steward for money, then you have 22, which could be, I don't know, 2 provinces, a watchtower, and a steward or something.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. Oh, yeah, I was undercounting the buys. You're correct, Naismith. Cha-shu only has 4 buys. So yeah, I think I'm kind of liking double and border guard, and then I guess it just depends on how much you think you need to do next turn.
So with double and border guard, and then good draws, next turn you're hitting up to 22 money, I believe.
There's the 18, yeah, 22. So it's going to be enough for double and duchy. So I think that seems reasonable. Like Derpa's decks can be pretty well under control even after adding 2 provinces to it if these 2 coppers get trashed. This is a tough decision.
Yeah, like if cha-shu duds, then all of a sudden Derpa looks like they're in a good position.
Yeah. I mean, even if cha-shu draws, they can't double if derpa doubles. Unless well, I guess maybe cha-shu can double in duchy, in which yeah, never mind. Cha-shu, if they draw, can double in duchy, which puts derpa in a pretty losing place anyways.
So if derpa takes 2 provinces here, then as cha-shu, I think you want to just take 1 province. Because you know your opponent can't possibly take 3 provinces in the next turn. So leaving it at 3 seems like a good place.
Yeah. Yeah, I think cha-shu has the triple threat. The draw is just getting more difficult for cha-shu.
Yeah, I believe cha-shu has 24. They had 20 last turn, and that was with 2 conspirators missing. And that was also playing a steward for trashing, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so I think cha-shu's got 26 money at the moment.
Conspirators.
I guess theoretically even more than that if they play the conspirator they bought for money as well, but that probably has to be draw.
You mean steward? Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's 8 conspirators, 3 festivals. I mean, that's already 22 plus the... Yeah, so I think they have 26. Yeah, I mean, you could go double and duchy, or the build line, they said, with like an extra watchtower and steward.
So what are the odds that cha-shu finds a border guard or a festival?
What do they have? How many border guards do they have?
They have 3 border guards, and do they have 4 festivals? No, they have 3 festivals. They have 3
festivals.
So 6 of those cards.
That's 6 out of those. So you'd have to miss the first one is 10 out of 16. Then you'd have to miss the next one, which is 9 out of 15. So 16 times. So 5 ace that cha-shu has a real turn here. Yeah, I agree with the math, Naismith. So that's pretty high.
Yeah, the risk of dudding here is pretty real.
Now, what do you get with... I mean, I guess you kind of need cha-shu to not have a full turn anyways. So... yeah, we were all feeling a lot more confident about cha-shu having a real turn before this hand happened. But 8 conspirators is a lot. I mean, cha-shu did go early and hard on the conspirators, so...
Yeah, I didn't like the double province from cha-shu, but, even considering that, this was a somewhat unlikely hand. They knew they had 2 conspirators and a border guard on top, which gave them 4 cards worth to find a second action rather than 2 here. Obviously, now we know.
Yeah, they already used up 2 of the spots. But I mean, having the 2 conspirators on top helps prevent duds in other ways because they aren't coppers. So.
Well, it doesn't help you prevent the duds because at best it's a cantrip, which is
Yeah, it's just better than a copper being in the hand. So. Yeah. Now, I think the Watchtower Steward line probably ensures derpa the best chance of next turn being what they need. I mean, I could see Duchy here too if you think you just need as many points as imaginable.
Double Steward also reasonable. They've got extra actions. They're under terminal by 3, looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, you could go Steward Watchtower, you could go Double Steward. You could also just take the Duchy here, but I don't... if cha-shu has a full turn, you just lose anyways, so...
Yeah, I don't like the Duchy, I don't think. That's asking a lot of your deck.
Yeah, especially because, you don't need that many points right now. If cha-shu triples, you just lose as derpa. There's nothing you can do about it. Maybe you go, I don't know. You go, dismantle Border Guard, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, poor cha-shu has just been sitting there agonizing over whether they'll dodge for the last 5 minutes. I don't think anyone's ever accused derpa of being a fast player, though.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played or watched derpa play, so...
They're definitely on the slow side.
You dismantle Border Guard. I don't know. Maybe that's... There's just a lot of options here.
Cash copper.
Cash.
That's a lot of payload.
Oh.
Okay. Uh-oh. You don't want the province?
Yeah, I don't know what you do other than the province, though. That's a lot of payload you're not using. What do you get if you don't province here? Festival, Watchtower, Dismantle? I don't even know what...
Yeah, I don't understand this undo. I think for derpa, 2 provinces looks good.
Yeah, I think you have to, convert some of this payload into points now. Yeah, ST Carl, so we were thinking Prov, Steward, or Prov, Steward, Watchtower. Maybe Prov, Dismantle Border Guard. Something like that. Adding some additional payload to the deck. Yeah, what could the options be here? What is derpa considering? Yeah, I guess if you don't have the Watchtower, the second Watchtower, the dismantle might be too difficult. Yeah, you dismantle Watchtower here. I don't know. I think I like scoring a little better than this. You can, but you need the Watchtower in a hand. ST Carl, so. And so, that's not... That's why I'm thinking, you probably want a second one, because you're asking a lot of your one Watchtower. If you find your Watchtower at the perfect point, then yes, that could work. And what this board needs is develop. That would make this board.
That would be fun. Yeah, derpa is on the slow side, no question. At some point, you just got to make a decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've been here for a while, calculating the odds of cha-shu dudding.
Duchy, Stewart. Okay, that was weird.
Yeah. And just play the border guard, see what you get. Hey, there it is.
All right, that was fortunate.
All right, so cha-shu probably wins here, or not wins here, but gets far enough ahead. This is pretty good draws.
Happy to find that festival. It means you can play the Steward before definitely. The Watchtower.
Yeah, and now I think cha-shu just triples and derpa's in a really bad spot.
Yeah, maybe so. Are they in the same bracket? If derpa has to play Haka, that would take a while.
Yeah, that Osman Malrath game, that was like 4 hours and 15 minutes or something. Yeah, I think trash here and triple and...
Ooh, not trashing.
That seems risky. Like, derpa's only chance to win is for cha-shu to dud next turn.
Trash 2 coppers and buy 3 provinces felt like the clearer choice.
Yeah, I don't even know what you add here. I mean, I guess you can take like a watchtower or 2 border guards. I guess like 2 border guards is reasonable. Like that'll certainly help reduce dudding chances. Yeah, border guard, pursue border guard. That can give you 2 border guards to start next turn.
I like that idea, I suppose. If you top deck 2 border guards, you know your conspirators activate for sure.
Yeah, I think that seems. Oh, we don't have the.
They do have the buys for 2 border guards and triple. If you wanted to do that, you would have to buy it before the last province.
Yeah, I think undo that, buy the border guard, pursue it, and then buy the province. Yeah, I think undo that, buy the border guard, pursue it. If that was the idea. Otherwise, I don't know what this $4 is for.
Dismantle.
Maybe we'll get it.
It's not too late.
You can dismantle a province into 2 golds. So, or a gold in a bank even. Yeah, we had hopes for Dismantle being the gain-in player this board, but no one went for it.
Dismantle's draw. You dismantle the province just to get out of your hand so your watchtower draws more.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like having 2 border guards on the top of the deck. I think that seems pretty darn safe. Like, you're guaranteed to find some of your 8 conspirators if you have 2 border guards on top and the horn and the lantern.
This makes me think they're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way to return golds to the pile, so... Acquiring golds. Yeah, we need a word that's not gain, but means, adding something to your deck via any of the means. Obtain, acquire. There it is. Okay. Yeah, that seems like a pretty darn safe line.
I like this.
Derpa can't really count on a dud. and scoring 21 points just isn't 22 points. Just isn't in the cards.
Oof. Well, someone dudded.
Yeah.
It was not cha-shu.
Yeah, I mean, this seems resignable now. Like, you know, cha-shu has a real turn. Well, maybe you don't, but the odds of cha-shu having a real turn are many, many times higher than they were last turn.
Yeah, I mean, cha-shu doesn't even need to make it to the end of the deck. They could have a partial dud and still hit 16.
Yeah. Yeah, I think derpa it took a little while to add the payload. Conspirator is one of those cards that sometimes I feel like you really need to put some emphasis on getting them, because if your opponent gets 8 conspirators, all of a sudden they just have way more payload than you do. And it's pretty good rate of return on it. You know, it's like each conspirator only takes 2 turns to pay for itself effectively. Like, it's pretty effective.
I think I agree that
the payload ratio.
At this point, cha-shu could pass a turn and be in the lead.
Yeah. I mean, you could just trash 2 provinces here.
They did.
Nope.
They did dud, but 1 province is just more than enough.
I was thinking if they had the actions, they could trash 2 provinces with the steward drop with the watchtower to continue the turn.
That'd be funny.
Jackdaw did that against me in a match recently. They remade 2 provinces just to continue the turn.
So derpa will have a turn here, but a little bit late.
Yeah. No, St. Carl's or St. Carl. So it wasn't taunting. Like they just had to draw through, and they had a cursed village was their only draw, and so they had to go for the win there. It made sense at the time. It wasn't taunting by any means.
So derpa just needs the province and every single duchy.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance. Just quadruple duchy and pray.
I mean, yeah.
cha-shu could dud here.
Certainly more feasible.
I think there's a bunch of festivals down there, though, right?
Yeah, there is.
In fact, is it 3 festivals?
I mean, that's already in hand.
Yeah. Okay, so cha-shu, I don't think it was even possible to dud, because 3 of the 4 cards down there were actions that were non-terminal.
Yeah, and the border guard was going to see 2 of them.
All right, 2-0 for cha-shu.
Yeah, Duchy Dancing would have started getting pretty rough in those decks. And the border guards can do some work for you, but they can't do too much. Oh, tournament time. Here we go.
Okay, this kingdom looks awkward. There's no good way to trash a state. Stonemason or Dismantle can do it, but not in an exciting way. There's Mission for draw to X, but no good payload that jives with draw to X decks. And aside from that, there's not really any draw. I guess there's Followers and Trusty Steed.
Yeah, I think I want a lot of supplies. Is Taxman to turn copper into supplies reasonable?
Taxman seems reasonable to me.
Reasonable. And then you get a tournament at some point and try to get a province, and then just do the tournament games.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be a great kingdom. I think you are just trying to get province kind of early for the tournament
for the explorers.
Yeah.
What are you doing with
Quarry does
Quarry?
it synergizes
It works
well with
with
stonemason is the idea,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. So you could go for, stonemason over like $5 can get you 2 hunting lodges and a stonemason and trash down.
$3 gets you 2 hunting lodges.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Because the hunting lodge is cheaper too. That seems pretty good. Like if you can get hunting lodges and stonemasons to trash things. I don't like opening the tournament for derpa. I think one of the things I see with tournament is that players just kind of like, oh, I got to get a bunch of tournaments and get a province and just make things happen. Where I think there's time to get the deck under control a little more here before going for the tournament. I mean, it's a peddler at the start. It's fine, but I think there's just more that can be done at the start.
Yeah, I agree that followers could be harmful for your deck. I mean, the draw is nice, which is the upside, but the militia attack might not hurt with Hunting Lodge, and curses are easier to trash than estates here, because Dismantle or Stonemason can trash curses without making you gain stuff.
Yeah, so maybe just don't go for followers as the first prize here. I mean, Stonemason double Hunting Lodge seems pretty nice right now.
You could also consider a scouting party and then double tournament.
Yeah, I guess if you want to, two tournaments could make sense in the deck where you're not guaranteed to be able to draw everything through.
Importantly, you've seen the quarry at the top of your shuffle, and so and the supplies for that matter. And so you just kind of want to get through all these junk cards. They go for the Hunting Lodges, though. That's good, too.
Could see some supplies and horse changeling stuff. I think it's probably a little early for that, but something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's tough because having a horse on the top of your deck is a lot better than having a stop card in your deck. And so you've got to have pretty good deck control before you're willing to pass up on taking the horse for the changeling.
Yeah. Yeah, missioning is pretty awkward on this board too, because there's no easy plus buy to let you have a turn and then mission.
Yeah. Oh, gold.
Yeah, I don't like the gold. I mean, yeah, I just don't like the gold. I don't think it's. I don't think tournament and gold and working your way up to province that way is going to win the game.
The problem with buying gold the stonemason into 2 hunting lodges is you could have just bought the 2 hunting lodges. They did have 7.
Yeah. Yeah, no tomb on this board, unfortunately.
If tomb were in this kingdom, I'd be a lot more interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly fun stuff you could do with like Explorer to gain gold and then Stonemason into 2/5s, but
if Quarry costed 3, Taxman would look like an amazing opening.
I still think turning coppers into supplies is pretty nice.
Yeah, Taxman supplies is a good synergy. The downside, of course, is if you let them be the only one with Quarry for too long, all of a sudden all the hunting lodges are gone.
Yeah, and derpa getting the Explorer there, I don't like at all. So not a great turn for cha-shu. I guess maybe you pick up the tournament here.
Huh, yeah. I'm surprised that they killed the Quarry.
I guess they thought they got enough out of it, but I don't know. I feel like you still could have, like, picking up hunting lodges 2 at a time was really nice with no plus buy available yet. Oh, I think this is going to be Seems pretty risky for derpa. I mean, with enough hunting lodges, I guess there's just not good enough payload here for you to be playing with a ton of hunting lodges and doing much more than just sifting through your deck.
The sifting is still pretty good, I think. I guess the downside is hunting lodge does not go very well with supplies, because you have a bunch of horses top decked, you have a big starting hand, and then you discard it.
I don't know what the mission did there. I probably would have just killed a copper and bought it supplies. But maybe cha-shu's really trying to get the dismantle going.
Interesting.
Huh.
They've drawn 8 money, I think, twice on this mission turn now. they can't use it. So a lot of scouting parties here, I assume. Or maybe just one.
Yeah, I mean, that seems fine. Leave a horse and a hunting lodge on top is about as good as you're going to do.
I mean, I guess
you can do another one just to clear some stuff off.
If you know the rest of the cards are all bad, you can still do it additional times.
I don't know why the hunting lodge was discarded. It seemed odd.
My guess is they're really itching to get province next turn.
So just leave a horse and a gold as your best chance. That makes some decent sense. So close.
Oh, this is it?
Oh, no, that's it. Sorry. I forgot the tournament got played at the beginning for a coin. Just saw the 7 there. All right, there's the province.
Who has 2 tournaments?
I believe it's derpa.
Yeah, so derpa has a decent chance of colliding tournament and province here.
I'm sure you're going to miss 8 here. Yeah, with all these hunting lodges, Princess seems like the logical first prize. Like, the followers really only hurts your opponent by giving them a curse, but you get a duchy or an estate too, so it's not really.
Yeah, I think Princess is really good. The plus buy is helpful. It's something you can play before playing Hunting Lodge. It lets you trash your estates more easily, to whatever extent that's relevant.
Yeah, you could get like Princess and then followers, and then trashing them is easier, but if you get Princess and followers, you probably are just winning it anyways. Oh yeah, Steed could be nice.
That's a lot of terminals.
Is weird. This Explorer is really weird.
It's a whole lot of terminals. You could stonemason the Explorer into more tournaments.
I mean, eventually the tournaments will be bad once your opponent has province.
I mean, the one potential upside, of course, is if your opponent has supplies, then you know they're top decking horses, which might limit the chance that a province is top decked.
It'll reduce it. That's true. Yeah, just like having the province miss there is pretty rough. Now derpa's got to get all the way back around to it. All right, well, there's a province.
Yep. cha-shu hits province. They are at the top of their shuffle, of course. Did not want to draw a hunting lodge there.
Yeah, that would have been really nice to leave on top of the deck.
Yeah, see. Oh, well, did want to draw gold. This is the next best scenario, I guess, is at least now you can afford multiple scouting parties.
Yeah. Still not a great turn coming up, but there's probably going to be a hunting lodge there. Yeah.
Neither of them has tournament banned, of course. And neither of them has it disliked either, which is a shame.
It is odd. I guess you just take another province here. Like,
one of these two players, at the very least, has some weird choices about what they've banned and disliked.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet, but banning...
They dislike Captain? How do you dislike Captain?
Captains are odd. And Duchess. I guess they just don't want to waste the spot on it.
Yeah, I'm guessing...
Wandering Minstrel. How do you dislike Wandering Minstrel? That's like...
Or... so weird. Yeah, Lost Arts, Citadel. They don't like villages?
A lot of the ones on the ban list, like, I get. Peastone, like, they don't want a dud. Doctor is kind of swingy. Page is kind of swingy.
Chapel.
Ambassador.
They don't like
Chapel ban is just, like, really weird.
Bad memories from the base set.
Yeah, banning Chapel but not donate seems really weird unless, like, you just bottom decked your Chapel once and got really upset about it or something.
Well, DZ, I think that makes one person in the world who thinks Captain is a boring card. I think it's quite fun.
I mean, Captain's boring if everything costs 5 or more, but... Yeah, AlphaGo, I get banning donate because it just makes the game a lot more chess-like, but... DZ and I were talking about this. I agreed with most of DZ's like list. I forget what the cards were, but it seems pretty reasonable.
Like Curse, Urchin, Swindler, Cultist, Sea Hag.
All right, so derpa is going to get the collision here.
Oh,
right, derpa and cha-shu getting them.
Beat to the punch. Yeah, I think I want Princess.
I totally agree with all of DZ's like list. Those are all good cards.
I don't like Masquerade.
I mean, it's, shouldn't be in friendly mix, but... I think it's got to be Princess here.
Yeah, plus Princess has this upside if you don't trigger this shuffle, and I don't think you want to trigger this shuffle.
Well, how's it going to trigger the shuffle? You're not drawing it anyways.
You didn't know that yet.
Oh, right? No, I'm pretty sure they reveal the province before you get the prize.
Is that true?
Yeah, you knew that they showed the province.
Never mind, I don't know how these things work. I thought you did.
I mean, you haven't played with this card in generations, so this is like digging up a time
it's
capsule.
only on my dislike list. I would ban it if I could, but I'm out of space.
Toronto and I kind of waffle back and forth on. Sometimes it's on the dislike or the ban list. Sometimes it's like... I have possession off just because that 1 out of 100 game with possession is kind of interesting, but I just let everyone else ban it, and then I just don't really have to worry about it.
Johnson's guessed incorrectly. I do not ban Steed. No, my ban list is Possession, Swindler, Mountebank, Cultist, Sea Hag.
Yeah, I've had a lot of interesting possession boards over the past, 3 months that I wouldn't want to play with it as regularly as any other card, but
I just don't even want to learn how it works. It's too much investment to justify.
I've had some really interesting possession games.
It's complicated.
So,
there's rules and interactions.
It's certainly not like normal Dominion, but it's kind of interesting. It's more like a puzzle. How do I build this deck such that my opponent can't do anything with it?
Wait, how are you swapping those? Those are both on my ban list.
Yeah, Sea Hag's just terrible. I had to play with it in that draft mix tournament. It was just 30 turn game. It's so bad.
Yeah, I briefly unbanned Sea Hag to put Urchin on there because that card was annoying me. And then I played 2 games with it, and I was like, no, I remember why this is on the ban list.
Urchin's annoying just because, if you collide them, it's wonderful, and if you don't, it's awful, but like otherwise it's fine. There's nothing bad about Urchin other than like the turn 3/4 luck.
I can kind of get why people don't like Page. It's I don't mind it that much, but there's sad parts to it. Like when Warrior hits Warrior, it's really sad.
Or like Warrior flips over your hero or your champion. It doesn't kill it, but like you just have to wait an extra 2 turns before you get to it, which is like almost as bad as killing it.
Yeah. The other dynamic I dislike about some Page games is when there's like really good terminal draw cards and not much villages. You often have this incentive right about the time you're getting a hero to just shove a bunch of terminal draw into your deck in anticipation of champion. And then whether you happen to have the champion at the top of your deck or the bottom of your deck can make like 2 to 3 whole turns of difference in the quality of your deck. Because if it's at the bottom, you can't even afford playing your terminal draw cards or you risk drawing it dead. And if it's at the top, your deck kicks off immediately.
Yeah, the last Page game I remember playing, I was playing against someone like way lower rated, and like they just had a bunch of envoys in their deck, and I was like, oh, this will be fine. Like I'll just discard their stuff, and like they kept playing the envoys, and just like I was never able to discard the traveler I needed to. I was like, okay, well I'm just gonna lose because like great.
Oh, I like Peasant. I think Peasant's much nicer than Page.
Yeah, Peasant, I think there's a lot more intricacy too. Like when to get the next peasant, how to start moving them up the line, whether you're going to get teacher, whether you're going to get, stick on disciple, how many disciples do you want? Like, sure, it still has the, well, I hope I don't bottom deck my traveler, but there's still a lot more to do. But then you just get like Cardinal games where your opponent exiles your disciple and you just immediately resign. So
that's Cardinal's fault. Don't blame Peasant for that.
Anyways, we can get back to this game and see where we are.
All right, there's a game going on. I don't know who's in the lead. Derpa has extra province, but
Derpa's up 8.
cha-shu does have the princess.
Derpa has steed and followers, I believe. I don't know that Derpa has followers. I'm just looking based on the score that I assume Derpa has followers, but maybe they don't. Let me look. Nope, the right click thing doesn't work. Nope, okay, never mind. They didn't get followers. cha-shu's just trashed more. Alright, so Derpa will have followers. Let me rephrase that. Unless they want Bag of Gold, that's always an option. Diadem doesn't look quite that good here. What do you call the location where cards are that aren't in the supply?
The prize pile?
The pile. No, it's not. Wait, is it a pile? Can you horse a prize?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The prize pile. Well, each prize, it's not the prize pile. Each prize has its own pile. Because you don't have to uncover them.
It's just one pile, right?
No, the Bag of Gold is in the Bag of Gold pile.
No, it's the prize pile.
The diadem is in the diadem pile.
There is no such thing as a diadem pile in which a diadem lives. And for more reasons than one.
Well, for some reason the client won't let me right-click tournament right now, so I can't read its wording.
I've noticed that. I'm not sure what causes it.
Prize pile. It doesn't make any sense because you're allowed to see all the prizes at once. It's a pile that's just spread out. Like, should the knights pile be spread out so you can see all the knights? This doesn't make any sense.
No, the knights is different. I forget what. There's different terms. There's the term for the knights pile and the ruins pile, which is where you can't look at the cards in the pile. And there's a different term for the catapult and the gladiator pile where you can look. I think it's like
that's the split pile.
A split pile versus mixed pile. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I'm just waiting for allies, and then we'll be able to like throw all the cards up in the air, and we'll just see which knight lands on top.
The rotating piles. Oh yeah, those cards are gonna rotate so fast. Yeah. There's some cards in that set that are gonna have some pretty high RPM. Might be dangerous to play, in narrow areas.
Ooh, that's a rough scouting party.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really sad scouting party for poor cha-shu.
All right, so derpa's gonna get followers here, and then there aren't really going to be any good prizes left for cha-shu other than the duchy prizes. I don't think you want bag of gold here. That just seems, well, maybe it's not awful, but I feel like by the time wait, I thought we were getting followers.
Well, I think the clear indication that you weren't getting followers was that derpa never mentioned that you need to like or subscribe.
The bell icon. Yeah, that seems weird.
If this ever ends up on YouTube.
If. It's a strong if.
JC Threats, I'm going to need you to smash that like button.
So what's the delay in getting these YouTube videos up? I mean, Wandering Winder also has a delay, but he posts them often enough that no one notices, other than I looked today and realized there's a game against me and him, and it was from like 6 months ago.
Yeah, his are very delayed. No, this one I'll probably just put it up tonight. Usually I feel like Wandering Winder
watches them and analyzes them and figures everything out before putting them online to verify that they're all good.
Oh, in matches I'm playing, like not once I'm commentating, there's often like a lot of dead space when it's like the opponent's turn. I just crap out a bunch of time. I don't have matches from 2017, and you'd probably hate to see them if I did, because I learned what Dominion was in 2017. So those games would not have been good.
I guess I first learned Dominion back in like 2013, but I wouldn't say I got good at it until like a year ago. Learning the mechanics of it versus like learning that Chapel is a good card.
No, it's a bad card. We covered that. Yeah, you have to ban it.
Oh yeah, that's why it's banned. These decks are getting pretty junky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Johns was playing Dominion back in like 1953.
I watched some of those, what was it, isotropic videos?
Yeah.
I don't even remember who Johns was playing against, but I just, it was too much for me. Like, he could totally see what all the text was doing.
Yeah, I remember there was that one tournament he was in that got postponed on account of the Korean War. My bad.
No. I mean, just because someone started playing something a long time ago doesn't mean like they know the rules.
I mean, I demonstrated that I didn't even know how tournament worked earlier in this game.
Yeah, they had to put things like bridge can't make negative cost cards. That was like the most complicated thing there was. Play other games like Terraforming Mars, where you can play cards that just like you get enough discounts and rebates that
we got
things
the
that
diadem.
usually cost money make money.
This diadem's actually gonna make a bunch of money.
It's not bad. It's pretty. This is gonna be a good turn for cha-shu. I don't know. I thought derpa was pretty far ahead, but
was trashing that copper worth it? They could have taken 2 provinces.
I would have doubled. I would have doubled there. That seemed certainly better.
I think double province sounds good, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially considering that derpa is gonna dud next turn. So.
Well, they don't know that, do they?
No, they don't. But I'm still not believing in this bag of gold over followers for derpa. That seemed like a pretty big blunder.
I think I would keep the estate. It means that province duchy can't tie for your opponent.
I mean, what do you even do here? Like mission? I mean, mission doesn't even work because you don't have the attack to play.
Yeah, I actually mission looks really bad because it untop decks your horses.
And there's no good reason why you want that. There's no like seer to find them for you.
I mean, like ideally speaking, you not dismantle. You stonemason a gold and the 2 duchies or something on the mission turn, and maybe that's worth it. Maybe you just have to take that risk. So I mean,
you at least get a 5-card hand.
I could see it.
Basically a 7-card hand if you think about it.
Yeah, so I guess you. Yeah, maybe you can mission. Like if you're not missioning, you're just really behind. So maybe you take this high roll and hope you can line up a stonemason and gold. Do they even have stonemasons and golds in the deck? I assume they do.
I think so. Yeah, just skipping followers seemed pretty bad for a bag of gold. What did they do? They just bought a tournament? That seems like resigning.
Well, I think it's infinite VP
in
a different way to interject in this AlphaGo DZ conversation, which is the old trader would let you infinitely exchange Forum for silver and then buy Triumph once.
Oh, it's like the slay, discarding slay.
Well, that one I think is just a client bug, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that. But with this one, you can reveal trader when you buy Forum and exchange it for silver. But on the old wording of trader, you could do that even if there were no silvers in the pile. So if you like reduced Forum's cost to 0, you could buy it an infinite number of times, I believe. And then you just buy Triumph and you make tons of points. Oh, I see what DZ's saying. Yeah, you're not getting VP for all that, are you? Because you didn't gain the...
You're just doing it.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it works. It's infinite with goons, I guess, is the infinite points. That's a good point. It's not infinite with Triumph. Are you talking about strength or enjoyability?
I would definitely put goons on a dislike list if there weren't so many more other cards worthy of it. Like, I don't know. It's not really that... Like, it's interesting the first time. Like, oh man, I never have to score the real way. Like, I can just do this goon stuff. But eventually it's like...
Goons without the militia attack, I think, would be a much nicer card.
Yeah, that's like the main thing. You just get to goons. Like, is Kilohertz listening to this? You totally should have gone for goons earlier in that game. There was a doubles game earlier where Kilohertz was like just dancing around, like not getting goons for so long, and should have just like gotten goons as quickly as possible because the board had no draw on it. It's like, just get the goons to attack.
Goons in non-engine games is even worse.
Yeah, there was peasant on the board, so it was like once you get teacher, everything was fine, but Kilohertz was like putting all the effort into like getting plus card. It's like, no, just like get a goons in there, like it'll make your opponent really slow.
So I like this line. You can dismantle stonemason and or you can play stonemason and I keep saying dismantle. You can stonemason the gold and the 2 duchies, and then buy an estate and then resign.
Yeah, I mean, there's still like nothing to do. I mean, just followers seem like way better than Bag of Gold. I mean, Bag of Gold certainly gave you golds to dismantle, but that was about it. I mean, I guess you'll get another duchy here, but you're also probably getting attacked. So, never mind. Maybe we have a game.
Poor cha-shu couldn't find a hunting lodge. That would have made a world of difference.
So derpa needs to get a duchy here, and then cha-shu dud again, and then another duchy in a province. Okay, got it. Once the duchy goes on top of the deck, like,
yeah, so
it's in your next hand.
Is derpa, I presume you buy mission here? Yeah.
Just to clear it off, yeah.
Yeah, this is not a a pleasant looking hand.
Now you scouting party?
Yep.
Ugh. It's not another good hand. Alright, it's not quite over, but it's like 98%.
Oh, yeah.
And
now
cha-shu
it's
can
over.
just take 2 duchies.
Yeah, now it's very over.
Yeah, just take the 2 duchies and it's over.
Do people ever defend Ultratus wording?
A 3rd duchy, even. I don't know. I read all the stuff about the blue dog, and it was all very confusing. I'm glad that it got resolved before I started
Good game.
paying attention to nuances like that.
I, for one, am happy that game is over. I did not like that game one bit. I was very checked out.
Yeah, like many tournaments, log games where you can't really do anything. Tournament can be interesting, like if there is deck control to be gotten, and you sort of like race for good deck control and see who can do that. But
yeah, you can see how my commentary of that one was very distinct from how I would normally cover a match.
Well, this one there's more to do. So
yeah, I like this one. I think Menagerie looks great to me. I think I just want like some festivals and menageries and then an assortment of other random cards. I don't think Hireling looks any good.
Is Gatekeeper payload good here?
I could see getting a Gatekeeper too, maybe in the right contexts. It's a unique card for Menagerie, and maybe it stops them from doing some gain and play stuff with a workshop or remodel. Johnson wants Menagerie remodel opening. I don't think I would open with Menagerie. I'd probably open with like a silver or a ducat.
Remodel seems reasonable though. Like I want to start getting these estates out of the way. I don't like the cut purse.
I don't like that either.
I mean, maybe it hurts your opponent from hitting 5, but
my thinking is if they're going for cut purse, they're probably not going for Menagerie as draw. Because if you're trying to draw the Menagerie, you want to thin ASAP so that your Menageries don't trip up of your coppers and estates. So maybe their idea is cut purse into a bunch of archives and draw that way.
Yeah, that looks like what derpa's doing, and maybe that's good enough.
cha-shu's following suit. I mean, archive isn't bad. I wanted to play with Menageries. Cut purse is actually really friendly to Menagerie because it can stop you from getting tripped up on coppers.
Well, it just hurt cha-shu from hitting 5 and just hurt derpa from hitting 5, so these have been pretty impressive. I guess if you get a bunch of archives, then maybe the cut purse is fast enough. Yeah, do you see that game? What was it? Game 2? That one took a long time.
Yep.
We're just going to keep playing the cut purse games where no one hits 5 because they keep attacking each other. At least it's not 4-person cut purse where just like no one does anything.
If you top deck a gained card, Gatekeeper can't see it, period, whether you put another one on there or not. Because Gatekeeper expects it to be in the discard.
Yeah, there's nothing that can do that here, though. I don't believe. Yeah, Gatekeeper's really... Gatekeeper's even worse from a lot of the rule things that you just forget about sometimes.
It's really sad how many ways there are to like circumvent Gatekeeper.
You're like, oh, it's a night card. Oh, it got gained to the top of the deck. Oh, it got gained to your hand. Oh, it they got 2 of them. Oh, like the last time I played Gatekeeper and it was reasonable was on the tournament board, and I just made sure I had a pair of them always in play and just ignored tournament. And my opponent tried doing tournament prize stuff and just gave up eventually. Even against black market, Gatekeeper's not like that great because you need enough deck control to play Gatekeeper every turn.
Yeah.
All right, derpa's sort of doing the have it both ways strategy. Like Menagerie and Archive doesn't seem like a great combo here.
Yes, they are going for Menagerie, which makes me think that they should have opened with Remodel.
Yeah, like going to the menagerie after.
Yeah, look at this cut purse. The cut purse just saved cha-shu's turn.
Yeah, like if you.
Festival, I think.
Yeah. Like, there's been not much trashing for trying to get this menagerie deck to work.
I mean, fortunately with Menagerie, if you just shove enough in your deck, they'll activate in all
Well,
sorts
it's
of
not
random
for derpa right
contexts.
now.
uh,
I mean, cha-shus will, but
yeah.
this is the first one.
Part of what's nice about Festival is, at least in some situations, if you have Festival, Remodel, and Menagerie in your hand, like actually this exact situation, I was literally about to describe this. You play the Festival, then play the Remodel, and now you can make your Menageries activate by trashing the duplicate card.
No, derpa is going to get to trigger.
And then cut purse saves the day again.
That's hilarious.
These cut purses are so terrible. Even if it were non-terminal, it's like worse than silver.
Hireling. I don't want hireling with menagerie.
I don't think hireling is good.
Just want like a bunch of festivals and menageries, and then we'll figure it out from there.
On the upside, you can remodel hireling into province.
That's true. So we'll see if this is like a should have been a gold instead.
Well, you can't buy gold just on principle.
Yeah, it's verboten. Doesn't work.
Exactly.
Like the blocks are really heavy. Like the card just doesn't move.
Yeah.
If you've ever played with the embargo tokens in real life.
Whoa! Why didn't we play the remodel? You could have trashed 2 coppers there.
That was weird.
For another hire, why are we getting hirelings? cha-shu, stop.
Is cha-shu just like getting cute this game? I don't know.
Got bored of Menagerie, and it's like I want to draw a hireling now. You should try putting the gold on your dislike list.
If you put tournament on your dislike list, bag of gold will also be on the dislike list. So it's kind of one and the same. And these archives and hirelings are draw, but they don't function that well with menagerie. I mean, I guess archive gives you a little more choice in the matter, but
yeah, like I could get it if you just skipped Menagerie and tried to draw with the duration cards. I don't think that's as good, but it's at least consistent. I don't get combining Menagerie with the duration draw cards because
like starting with a 7-card hand sounds so difficult to make Menagerie work.
Yeah.
Yeah, ST Carl. So I think that's like the plan, but they're both doing other stuff too. That seems explicitly harming that original plan. Like sometimes you do stuff and it's like, well, you know, that didn't help or hurt, but it just took up some time. Whereas like playing these duration draw cards is like actively hurting the rest of the plan.
I'm a little disappointed. What I really wanted to happen there was for cha-shu to draw 2 hirelings in the same hand, for the hirelings to block Menagerie that way. I thought that'd be really nice just desserts.
All right, is 4 Menageries in the hand too many? We can still
remodel.
trigger it.
Yep. I would think just turn it into Ducat. Seems pretty clear.
Yeah.
Oh, that was actually a pleasant coincidence then. More festivals?
Festival and nothing.
I could see Yeah, probably just. I was gonna say Festival Workshop, but the reason I was thinking about Workshop earlier was to gain menageries, which are already out.
But we're already past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to call it Ducat, and now everyone calls it Ducat. So now I just call it Ducat.
I have no idea what the correct pronunciation is.
I just gave in and said Ducat.
I assume, because that's the consensus view, that Ducat is the correct one.
Ducat sounds more fun. So. Ducat sounds more like some foreign treasure. Wow, that archive got really lucky to work there. All right. Well, now these ducats are getting in the way.
Which one's which? I can't say I've ever heard an American say the word ducat outside of a Dominion context. I don't know which side I'm supposed to be on.
They've said it before. It just sounded like something else.
Americans say ducat. Okay.
That's what I was saying at the end. Everyone went all British on me.
What a shame. Province? I don't like second silver.
That doesn't help anything.
You already have a silver in your deck. You don't want more of those.
All right. Well, derpa can get a menagerie to start next turn, so that seems reasonable.
I would have thought something like province and maybe another remodel.
Yeah. Ooh. Derpa seemed ahead after that dud, and derpa was going to have a good turn. So, all right. Well, yeah, I didn't like the hirelings or the archives combined with all the menageries, but
I didn't think either of them played that one very well, but I thought cha-shu played it worse. The hirelings were just really bad.
Yeah, like they cost more than archives in their terminal, so and you can't store the cards you don't want on them. So, all right, so 3-1 cha-shu, another game. All right, Tomb. Here we go. Jane Hales, it's all your death-themed cards. Crypt, Cemetery, Tomb.
So, cha-shu really did a number on derpa game 1 with Crypt. Maybe we'll see that again. Crypt looks pretty good here to me. Both Way of the Horse and Tactician are nice ways to potentially set up a big turn and get a bunch of cards down.
Unfortunately, Tactician, there's no villages, so...
You're not playing double Tactician or anything, just like one Tactician.
Oh, just a single Tactician, then you just like horse it later?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Pirate Ship even worse than normal here.
Crypt also, I think, plays pleasantly with Forum. Big starting hand, more stuff to discard. Just have like bridge as your terminal, play a few Forums, have a few treasures, and then a Crypt or two.
Yeah, I think that's probably the plan, and try to cemetery away all the estates.
Yeah.
Bridge on the open seems fine. Bridge silver, maybe.
Yeah, bridge silver sounds good to me. Caravan guard would also be okay. I think I prefer silver though.
Yeah, there's no good reaction for Caravan Guard, so it's just kind of a half peddler.
Or a ride.
It's like a $3 ride. Silly Potter, why not bridge silver? I mean, I guess silver. I don't see why silver is better than bridge silver. Unless you're planning to play with some other terminal at some point.
I don't think I want Journeyman.
I don't want any of those cards. They all look terrible here. Not Hunting Ground. Well, maybe hunting grounds to trash with the cemetery later. I don't know. Yeah, I think just the fora, crypt, bridge. Yeah, if you had a number of crypts, you could see crypt as the draw on this board. I don't think J-Man money is very good.
I mean, if I had to make a case for Journeyman, you buy one early, and then it could help you line up a good cemetery trash and or like a good crypt play maybe. It's not the card I want in my deck long term, I don't think. Like it'd be fulfilling a similar function to Tactician there. But I think Tactician does that job better. Like maybe you buy a Tactician, and then on your big Tactician turn, you buy your cemetery, you discard the bridge, you get your ghost off of that, and then you trash 3 estates and Haunted Mirror. You set aside all the coppers on the crypt, and now you've got like a nice thin deck.
Yeah, that all sounds pretty good.
Then you maybe buy a ghost, not ghost, buy a bridge next turn and ghost it, and then you have like a triple bridge turn.
Yeah, that's one thing St. Carlso was asking. So yeah, crypt doesn't trash them, so you don't get the tomb points. But like, one of the main things about crypt here is like, if you have the crypt plus the fora, then it is a draw because you'll be starting from a 6-card hand. Or if you have another crypt in play, you'll be starting from a 7-card hand. You just have more options for what you're drawing and discarding with the fora. Because normally fora, you're going to be stuck at the 5-card hand, which may or may not be that helpful here.
Yeah, like I think together they work well. Crypt gives you a lot of draw, but it naturally is drawing you bad cards, the coppers, and then fora doesn't. They don't draw you cards, but they turn your bad cards into good cards by letting you discard the bad cards and find the good cards. And so you put those two together, and you have like big hand of good cards.
Yeah, so as long as you can get like 4 or 5 cards down with the crypt, it's not too bad. Because obviously with the crypt, you need to draw the crypt first. But after that, after it's in play, the draw is reasonable.
So what do you buy here?
Derpa went for the Journeyman.
Interesting.
cha-shu got a 2nd bridge.
cha-shu has 3 terminals now? 2 bridges and a Journeyman? I don't understand that.
Seems like a lot.
I don't follow those buys at all. Alright, so Derpa's going for a crypt, which makes some sense. I wish that Journeyman were a Tactician now.
Yeah, that would be a lot better for setting this up.
It can still be good. If their Journeyman's in the top, they'll have a decently large crypt.
I guess that would make sense for Silly Potter's Silver open as well, because then you could set those aside under the crypt as well.
Just a Caravan Guard, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, this is like the downside with cha-shus.
So what are these bottom 3 cards for cha-shu? An estate?
Well, we horse.
I think.
I
think the last card's an estate.
Yeah, it's an estate. It is. Yeah.
Okay, so I think they were hoping to draw 3 estates.
Yeah, ghost now.
And then buy a cemetery. And they managed to find 2.
Oh, yeah, cemetery. Cemetery and get the ghost. Yeah, ghost is the only village. It's just pretty awkward.
Yeah. Certainly when Haunted Mirror is around as the source of ghosts, that's real awkward. With Exorcist,
yeah,
it's still not great, but you can make it work.
You get like one nice turn, and the next turn's pretty bleh, and then you hope you draw the ghost that turn.
Yeah.
A lot of horsing going on.
An interesting kingdom I saw not too long ago had Ghost from Haunted Mirror as the only village, but it had Way of the Turtle. And so you can make the turns more nice and even, where on the turn where you have 3 actions because of the ghost, you just turtle 1 and then play it on the following turn, so you're having 2 actions each turn.
Yeah, that's much. It sounds a lot nicer than normal. Does the Yeah, because the ghost will move out of play, right? Because the set aside,
Yeah.
the turtle card gets set aside.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good then. Uh,
They don't have
do
a
you buy
bridge yet,
gold
do they?
here?
They need bridge, right?
They had a bridge and they just horsed it.
Oh, well.
So,
Well, good thing we
well,
have this
Derpa's gonna draw a deck.
journeyman to.
Derpa's gonna draw a deck. I think that was maybe too many cards set aside.
It looks like it's like one too many.
Because you can't even. Well,
because what I'd want to be doing this turn is buying a cemetery and then trashing 3 estates and a haunted mirror.
Yeah.
And
so you probably needed. Yeah.
Need 1 more copper to make that a thing. They can do that next turn, though.
So you just buy the bridge back now that you horsed.
You could also consider buying the bridge next turn, where you can naturally ghost it. Oh no, you can't do that way, can you? Because it'd be 2 turns.
Yeah, because you don't have the ghost yet.
It'd be 2 more turns.
Yeah, ghost is really slow. They move slowly. It seems 1 turn early.
I would have held off on that cemetery there until you could use it to trash haunted mirror. Ghost.
Like Derpa just doesn't have like a deck anymore. I mean, Derpa has a deck, but. Like, are we doing this again this turn?
Like, I think if they set aside 1 copper less, they would be in a pretty good position. Because then they could gain the ghost. They'd have the ghost in hand this turn. Then they buy the bridge. The ghost hits the bridge. And now you're in business.
Yeah, cha-shu getting the ghost village effect, that really helped that turn. So presumably for cha-shu, a cemetery and... Yeah, Forum could make sense.
Forum, Cemetery, Caravan Guard. You could do Crypt, Cemetery, Caravan Guard, actually. Might be better.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to go from 2 green cards down to 1 if possible, but the Crypt can make sense too. Or sorry, you were saying Crypt, Cemetery, Caravan Guard?
Yeah, it'd be replacing Forum rather than
yeah, that could
cemetery.
Make sense. Gold.
Shakalaki.
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
I don't like that talk.
If you're keeping all these coppers, then Crypt seems like it's certainly.
Yeah, Crypt still seems good to me.
Or not.
I don't really understand those buys.
I mean, I get that the Fora gave plus buys, but still seemed a little odd.
I mean, they weren't in need of plus buy there. They had plenty of buys from playing bridges 3 times. I guess Derpa wants Ghost now.
There's just nothing good to Ghost right now in the deck.
Oh, it doesn't need to be in the deck because you can buy it next turn and then Ghost the thing you bought.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, I guess you can buy the bridge and Ghost it. That seems reasonable.
Yep.
Okay, then maybe Derpa's not as far behind as I thought.
Do they have a Caravan Guard down there? No, they don't. So I think this is all their actions.
Where are you? Were they trying to get... Oh, there's not even a crypt down there. It's like, oh, are they trying to get to the crypt? I'm certainly by bridge. Do you want to ghost the bridge? I think so.
Bridge crypt?
Seems reasonable.
It's really nice that this ghost is going to discard those 3 cards, because that's all.
Yeah, that would be really bad. Good ghost.
I'm thinking about crypt and bridge, and then horsing the bridge. Like maybe play it once and horse it the other time, just to make sure you have a decently big draw.
Yeah, I mean, you also have these car guards.
No, you do not.
One of them.
Those cards.
Oh, did they both get played?
That'll be.
They both got played this turn.
Well, one of them got played this turn. The other one's coming back. So you can horse one Caravan Guard.
Yeah.
That's a lot of coppers. I know where I'd like them to be.
In the tomb or the crypt?
The crypt.
Not the tomb?
That just seems less convenient. So they have 3 bridges now? I presume they're going to horse the bridge that they just ghosted so they can play both the other bridges.
At least one bridge horse.
Right, yeah, not twice, just the once. I'm not sure what cha-shu's plan is for this turn.
I don't know, crypt.
So derpa's play seems pretty automatic here. You're buying bridge and ghosting it. I guess what they're thinking about is whether to play the Caravan Guard. Like whether you'd rather have... I don't
see why you don't.
Well, maybe you're trying to figure out what you're planning on buying next turn and deciding whether +1 money next turn is better than +1 money the turn after. Like if you happen to know that 1 coin won't make a difference next turn, maybe you just don't play the Caravan Guard so you're getting that +1 coin a turn delayed.
Yeah. But then 2 turns from now, you don't get it, it's all.
Horse time? Okay, I'm confused. Why do we buy a second bridge if we don't plan on playing it? Oh, we're just going to horse that one.
Well,
okay.
So horse then?
I guess it doesn't make any difference which one you horsed.
Yeah. Lots of horsing around going on.
It feels like what cha-shu is doing is a whole lot of spinning. They are buying and horsing mini action cards.
Yeah, and it's not... I mean, you can buy a bunch of car guards for horsing.
So
you can buy like 3 more fora.
two forums, crypt, and silver.
All right, those are the real golds. Okay.
So 2 forums and crypt would leave you with 3 buys left, and then you could do like 3 silvers or like 2 silvers and a Caravan Guard, something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
This journeyman has just been sitting in derpa's deck doing nothing. Oh. Okay, so derpa's got a lot of buys, and they've got 8 money. What might you want as derpa?
I'm not quite sure where this deck is going.
Something like forum crypt 2 silvers.
Yeah, I mean, derpa's certainly going to need another crypt at some point to prevent us from getting out of control.
I think I like that. Forum crypt 2 silvers. I think you're pretty likely to draw that. You can horse the journeyman because it's not doing anything for you anymore.
It was just an expensive horse. That's all it was.
I do think derpa's a bit behind.
Yeah, definitely.
Crypt and a silver.
Yeah, if derpa doesn't get another crypt, it's going to get kind of out of control. There's been some really awkward boards. Like, literally none of the boards they've played have been like a get your village, get your smithy, get your payload, get your buys.
Yep. They just took more forums. I just kind of question what you're drawing to for derpa right now. The Caravan Guard does not offer a huge amount of payload.
Yeah, I mean, cha-shu's got a lot more treasure, more bridges.
I'm not sure if discarding that forum was good or not.
Yeah, I wasn't certain on that.
I think you'd rather.
I felt like you could have drawn.
Well, now there's a forum and a bridge down there, and I thought you want the ghost to hit the bridge. They got lucky anyway. It did hit the bridge, but
yeah,
they took a risk
I think
there.
You could have played it. You could just discarded the bridge. Yeah, why there's not more cemeterying going on is a good question.
I mean, I think you only want the one cemetery, and ideally you'd have 4 VP chips for trashing 3 estates and a haunted mirror. I don't think you need more than that.
Yeah, they derpa did 2 and cha-shu did 1, but they were only partial trashes.
Derpa did 2 because they messed up the haunted mirror the first time and couldn't line it up.
Yeah. Yes, Johns, that's correct.
but at the point where I'm buying cemetery, I don't want a province.
Well, if you don't want to trash 4 cards, then I'm not quite sure what the purpose is.
What's that bottom card for derpa?
Probably a copper, but I think I've lost track. Well, you certainly need to buy something for the ghost to hit.
Bridge.
Buy a bridge and a
silver, I guess.
This is a very awkward build. Yeah, I don't even know if I call it building.
This has been a lot of spinning. Yeah,
something.
They are rotating in and out of caravan guards and bridges at a rapid pace.
Well, cha-shu, I think, has horsed more, so cha-shu.
Yeah, I think cha-shu is doing more spinning.
Yep, that sounds about right based on my intuition.
Now we take a crypt for this huge amount of treasures. Yeah,
just like
double province
car guards.
Seems early to me.
That's a line I was thinking, but I didn't really give it that much consideration. I guess it's we'll just get ahead and, it'll be fine.
What's your homework on?
Don't you know the mantra? Is it do today? No, then you don't do it today. Do tomorrow, do it tomorrow.
Well, yeah, if it's a game project, then it sounds like watching this game counts as studying.
Do Monday sounds like do Monday.
We got great role models here.
I did not abide by that mantra during my academic years, but I know many of people who would not start things until the day they were due, and they would go by that mantra. I, on the other hand, have not had to do homework in like 6 years, so...
Oh, I was helping my niece with her math homework. She's in like 3rd grade. And I had to like actually Google it because, they have a different math curriculum now.
They have new math now?
Yeah, like it's not the one that I grew up on. And so they're not just asking you like what's the correct answer, they're asking you like do it in a particular format. And I don't know how it works. I have to Google it and then tell her how to do it based on my Google search.
Yeah, I don't know how they messed math up so much, but...
I don't know enough about it to say whether it's good or bad. It's just different than what I grew up with. Change is bad.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think math was in need of reinventing, but plenty of people thought it was, so...
Yeah, the U.S. math curriculum changed a bunch, like, a decade or so back?
Yeah, it was like 10 or 15 years ago. I remember, like, they started talking about new math, like, probably when I was getting into high school, like, 20 years ago. So it was probably, like, changing at lower levels.
I know I have...
they didn't change the math. They just, like, they called it new math. So if you go online and Google new math, you'll see. And I don't know.
It's different now.
I don't know how they changed it. But it only affects things like arithmetic. It doesn't affect anything interesting. It doesn't affect, like, trigonometry or calculus or geometry or any of the fun stuff. It's just, like, how do you, like, multiply two numbers in your head? Oh, like, we used to, like, tell you to do it this way. Now you should learn to do it that way. So...
Yeah, like, you gotta show your work and stuff. So it's not helpful if they come to you and you're like, what's 3 times 2? You can't just be like, oh, well, that's obviously 6. You have to tell them how to do it, and then if they do it your way, well, that's not correct, because that's not the way that they're supposed to be taught.
Let's go with some new math.
Like, for the multiplication, they were really emphasizing, like, you draw, like, a rectangle, essentially, of, like, X number of units across and Y number of units down, and then, like, the total number of units is the product. I assume it's meant to, like, get them to grasp it conceptually instead of just, like, memorizing multiplication tables. Like, you're kind of getting what multiplication means like, supposed to mean. But it's not something that we did when I was in elementary school.
Yeah, you just had to, like, look at a table and just, like, remember it enough, and then, like, you know what it was. Oh yeah, engineers make more than designers. I can tell you that from personal experience. So call yourself an engineer. Don't call yourself a design engineer, though. That's like the worst of both worlds.
What about an engineer designer?
Sure.
All right, well, given my close following of what has happened in the past few turns, I'm going to say cha-shu is in the lead.
There was lots more spinning that happened.
They have more points. they're probably winning.
Derpa has a lot of caravan guards, so they're playing all the caravan guards and playing the ghost on the same turn. So I guess they're trying to like spike a really big turn here. DZ, but the player with the crypts won game 1, so you know.
The player who doesn't have the crypt in this game really could have used one at a number of different points.
It's a lagging indicator.
Yeah.
Is it a leading or a lagging indicator? I'm not sure which.
I mean, that does check out because cha-shu got a crypt game 1 and then won game 2.
This is annoying. Like, this board has Way of the Horse and Tomb. It feels like it should be a lot more fun than it was.
I don't trust J-Nail's analysis on gamble boards anymore after league finals last season.
Yeah, I was enjoying Gamble very much during Card Champions. And in one of my last games, I tried setting up some, like, insane, elaborate engine that should have just, like, done, like, some very straightforward money thing, and it would have been far better than the elaborate Gamble nonsense I tried.
I think my problem was the reverse, which is in my latter games, I've tried to play the ridiculous Gamble engine so often that when I got into that game with N.A. Smith, where it was just like, oh, Gamble's like, it's kind of here and you use it occasionally, but it's not like the central theme. I just blocked it out of my mind because like, oh, Gamble, you're either all in or I don't know how to use it otherwise.
You forgot you can like use it here and there to like gain and play.
I missed a number of places where it was potentially significant, including blundering like a forced win in Game 7 or Game 6, whatever the last game was, and then losing the match. It was bad. Exactly. Like, if I see Gamble in the Kingdom, I'm trying to figure out how to click Gamble 100 times. It was really tragic. It
is really
so
fun
bad.
when you can click it literally 100 times in game. Yeah. It's quite fun.
Like, it wasn't even like a hard force win. Like, I just remembered that Gamble existed during that turn. It was bad.
That's a good question, unless they're just going to draw back around to it, but that seems a little odd. Yeah.
I don't understand that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, ST Curl. So, yeah, like, Gamble and Develop works really well, because you just, like, top deck the stuff that you want to gamble into. Like, it's pretty nice. So you're just like, oh, I'll, like, top deck a bank and gamble into it, or I'll top deck a whatever. Like, it's really nice if you can control what you gamble into.
So that's the crypto bottom. It seems pretty clear that we're drawing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so derpa has a lot of points to make up.
Yeah, just cha-shu. Cha-shu doesn't have a ghost coming in.
What's one draw for next turn? And you have to plan on the next turn.
You certainly set aside at least one card under the crypt. So what is Derpa's path to victory?
So cha-shu has to dud next turn for Derpa to have a chance of winning.
So you just like province double duchy here because you like everything else just.
So I'm buying a province. I mean, Innsmouth has a good point. You could buy a cemetery and trash 2 cards, which would be more points. Or maybe even how many cards can you afford to trash a cemetery? I think they could have even trashed more than this. Right? Like if they kept a silver out of play.
Put the crypt in the tomb. Yeah, I guess you still need a province duchy here.
Yeah, province form duchy.
And the problem is that cha-shu can just like start horsing things until they get to a province.
Yeah, looking at cha-shu's hand, it looks like cha-shu's just going to win this turn. But as derpa, you've got to play under the assumption that they don't have that.
Yeah. Which I think means taking a province here. And then you get Province Duchy next turn, which still seems difficult. Well, I guess you can get Province Cemetery.
Derpa's next turn is definitely going to be worse because they don't have the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely buying Province here. If cha-shu managed to get another Province, you're lost either way.
Yeah, I think not getting a Province here is just losing. I mean, losing slightly slower. And I feel like Province gave you a chance if cha-shu has a complete dud. Yeah, the hunting buying the cemetery to kill hunting grounds could be interesting.
I could see that.
Because now, like, cha-shu doesn't even have to score this turn. cha-shu can just set up a good turn next turn. Like, there's no way derpa can double here.
Does derpa not have 14 in deck? I actually have no idea.
A lot of derpa's money was coming from Caravan Guard.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think they've only got like 9 money that they can actually play.
I mean, cha-shu just can go like Province Caravan Guard. Or, oh no, sorry, not enough for Caravan Guard. Now derpa needs Province and a lot.
Yep. This one is over. What's the match score right now? I actually don't know.
I think this is it.
Is it 3-1 for cha-shu?
I believe so.
So cha-shu won the first game with Crypt and Fairgrounds and such. Then they won the second game, which took really long.
With the festivals and the watchtowers. Then they won the tournament game. And then they lost the last game where they were messing around with the menageries.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is the first time in a long time no one's done like the match command in chat. Everyone was well aware of the situation or just didn't care to ask.
Okay, yeah, so this is the match. And cha-shu will advance.
Play Holtz or Holzy?
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
I don't know the pronunciation.
The 36th seed. And the winner of that will go on to play probably Silly Potter. Although, who knows? There could be an upset there.
Yeah, at this stage in the tournament, there's definitely plenty of room for upsets.
So that's why Silly Potter's been watching, scouting out the competition.
I see. You're just here scouting out your finals competition?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know where your bracket aligns with this bracket.
I don't either. I think the scariest person in my side of the bracket is Sangatsu.
Yeah, that sounds pretty scary.
Who somehow is not in the top 8 at the time when they seeded the tournament. I don't know how.
Well, Nick Pasenok, who was one of the favorites, according to the market sheets, was upset, so, anyone's game.
Yeah, people who are underrated and get an artificially low seed throwing off the bracket must be real annoying. John, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
In fairness, John's almost lost to the higher seed today.
That's true. Yes. I think they're currently like second or third on the leaderboard at the moment, in fact. They just happen to not be in the top 8 on the leaderboard at whatever the deadline was that they checked for seeding this tournament.
I mean, it's being like a 1 through 8 that different than being a 9 through 16.
Yeah, because it means I play them in the round of 16 now. Because I can't match against anyone in the top 8 before the round of 8. Unless they should be in the top 8 and then weren't because they're underrated. All right, well, that's the match. Good games. Right, well, congratulations to cha-shu.
Good games, and good luck to cha-shu and the rest. And thanks for watching.